Hey guys, Green Guy with Green Guy Finance. Gonna make a quick video on cdzi, cdzi, and the action therein today. You can see that was today's daily incremented candle, big red candle today. I wanted to go through that a little bit and basically just tell you about my entries, exits, what I was looking at. So maybe that helps you, and what I tend to look at. And I was just gonna make a quick commentary on shorts in the market and how ridiculous it's been. Short squeezes has been the theme, big theme going forward. But I am Green Guy with Green Guy Finance. This is my commentary page on Twitter. Here is Kid Trust Option Trade. This is where I put my entries, exits. If you like the videos, please follow, please retweet, or comment. I like the interaction. This is all free and public and live. I post my trades live. So that's that. I think. Let's just dive in. I think. Let's see here. Cadiz Inc. I think the first thing I wanted to say, and the reason I'm doing this on such a simple play, is because the simple play hasn't been that simple recently. There have been so many short squeezes in the market, and I want to show you how many short squeezes and how ridiculous it's been. This is FinViz. You can see the things that I put in here: optionable and shortable, float short over 30%, which is very high, and basically just bigger than a mid cap, over 2 billion in market cap. And just show you what popped up. So these are the 14 names that popped up: Triple D, GameStop, GoPro. Let's see, I want to highlight United Steel and just show you how crazy the market has been for the poor short side sellers. Because short squeeze has been the norm and not the exception. It's been a little different there. So here's three. Actually, real quick. So this is, sorry, going backwards. This is short float over 30% on those names. I wanted to first point out something that not everybody's aware of, but you should be, which is that short float data is only updated periodically. This is the NASDAQ site for publication data on shorts. Here we have April. The last publication date was April 10th. We haven't gotten to the 24th yet. You can see that was covering data updated on the 31st was the settlement date, and the due date was April. So pretty much beginning of April, let's say, for that short data. So all the information we currently have is from the beginning of April. That's when the data is from. So we're not always 100% sure of the current short float in a name, but you can actually go back and look at the charts, and it's been palpable in the price action and also in the names. So here's Triple D, was one that I pulled off the screener list that we had. Triple D Systems, you can see early April. And Whammo, short squeeze. We also had GameStop there, early April, and Whammo, short squeeze there too. Let's see, GoPro and United Steel. GoPro is at a little bit of a short squeeze. I think it went from about 41-ish is where it was early April. Yeah, about 41-ish to 44, so a little bit of a short squeeze, but still not paying off those shorts that had all that going in there. And the pattern's been so ridiculous, I actually made some money off of United Steel when I thought, forget it. It was about April 10th, and I said, this pattern has been so crazy and so strong, I was just going to take a call in United Steel without even knowing a whole lot about it. And you can see it did pop. It had a little bit of a squeeze there too. So it's been difficult to be a short-sighted guy in a market type like this. And that's the long view of it. There's also just news catalysts that haven't paid out at all either. Let's see. 9th. There we go. 9th. I gotta see what kind of, see if I can go back there on the chart there. How far can I, there we go. Actually, you can see it. No, that's April 9th, March. Won't do it on the 15-minute. Let's see if it'll do it on the 30-minute, because I want to show you. There we go. Is that? Yeah. Okay, so 30-minute. There we go. And zoom in on March 9th as best as I can. Okay. March 9th. And I'm sorry I have such big increments, but this is the charting software that I use. So you can see March 9th, AXDX, Citron report, which usually is pretty good for a short-sighted analyst, had a report come out against AXDX, big lie, SEC, $1 price target. You can see that there. And you can see what happened on the 9th. You can see actually it came out right about the starting point of this, had a big schwoof downwards, and then look at that. Insane short squeeze, even in the midst of having a negative sided piece come out about it. And you can see even afterwards, 9th, you can see this is when the piece came out. Even after that, had a short squeeze upwards and is still going. So short-sighted guys have been having a very difficult time. News hasn't been having the effect that it used to. And I like playing news catalysts, and I've had to be very careful with the ones I play. But I played Cadiz today, and I'll tell you exactly why I played Cadiz today. So this is the intraday action on your right. On the left is the long chart with each candle is a daily increment. You can see this is usually the first place I start when I look at these pieces is the left-sided action. I like a little bit of a build-up so that it has something to sell off. So hopefully there's somebody selling off with you because the market is built for stock buyers. More so than short people. And I don't mean physically short, I mean stock shorts. It's built for buyers. That's just the bias of the market, and it always has been. It's easier to get squeezed than it is to force a stock downward off of shorts. You really have to convince the guys who are holding stock to dump to have a stock go down, 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 down. And there's ways of telling if there's people that are willing to buy. And one of those is an up phase in the stock. We didn't have that in this stock. So that was a strike one that I didn't like about it. Another is just social media volume that you can pick up. And this is a trick I like. This is a site I found when Apple bought it. I checked out the site before Apple got their hooks into it. And it just basically tells you social media. It's Topsy. You can see it up there. I'm sorry, it's a little cut off. But it basically just tells you social media on certain names. So I actually use it for stocks, which I don't think anybody else does. But you can see it, basically a number of tweets. It's a general indicator of interaction with the stock. And there's a lot of publications pointing to the fact that the volume of social media tweets in a certain name correlate to volume in a stock. Not necessarily up or down, but the higher the volume, the higher the tweets that happen in a stock. And this particular name had a little bit of a buildup. And good God, does it not really go over? There we go. You can see it there when I move the whole entire video over. But you can see it had quite a buildup here yesterday. So it had a little bit of a social media commentary that's been going on in the name. So that's a positive. But what I really liked about the stock, and the reason I actually played the stock, was more the price action was so different from what I'd seen recently on the short squeezes that had been happening. And I will go and I will explain that exactly to you, what I was looking at. So here is Cadiz Inc. on the intraday. Let's blow that up a little bit more. You can see here's pretty much the initial publication, down, 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 3 tickers down. About this point, you're looking at a lot more than a 3% decline. You're looking at about a 5% decline off of the original price and that was positive enough. The 5% decline was enough to make me think that I haven't seen a green bar yet or any resistance. That's a good place to enter. Honestly, that was enough for an entry. I didn't know if it was going to really double me, but I knew I was going to make something. Given the short action and short squeeze we've been seeing, you got to play these very hesitantly and not lose your shirt. So I didn't hold as much as I used to in terms of the options and take risk. I was mostly just in and then taking at least a large trim off of the position. So this is when I had my original entry, 1153, was enough that I'd seen 1, 2, 3, 4. It went down quite a bit more, and then it oscillated here. When I saw the first green bar, I exited. And right there was enough that I made a good 30% in the price. So that's how you can do names like these, is especially in this one where it had $2.50 staggered option strikes. So what that means is there is a $10 strike, a $7.50 strike, and a $5 strike, etc. So your options were I can go an out of the money put on the play. I can do an in the money put, which basically is more expensive, but it's just essentially more like leveraged stock, assuming that the bid to ask is going to agree with you. And but here it had such staggering downward movement that I thought at least the out of the money 750s would get a little bit of play. Not saying it's going to go lower than 750, but somebody will think it will, which is enough to play the stock. Small positions. You can do a small position with things like that. You can't do big volume on options in a name like this where it doesn't have a whole lot of liquidity. But anyways, down, saw the first green bar, trimmed 30%. Like I said, I didn't want to take a lot of risk, so I trimmed quite a bit, more than I usually did. It had a nice up phase. And when you see big movements in a stock, either up or down, and this is a good general rule, always pay attention to the two different averages. The red and the white here on my screen is the colors I like, but those are the 10 and 20 exponential moving averages. Does it stay within bounds of the 10 and 20 exponential moving average? So here you see it challenging the 10 exponential, breaking the 10 exponential moving average, and here it came up against the 20, but as soon as I saw the red bar, essentially that was, in my mind, good enough that there's going to be quite a bit more downward movement. There's not a short squeeze forming in this name. It hasn't recovered to half of the decline. That's a good indicator. A lot of times what you see in a short-sided piece is you'll see the price will go down 3-4%, maybe come back to exactly where it was because the market needs time to digest, and somebody might think that they're just getting better stock at a cheaper price. So the news hasn't caught up to the price action. But in here you can see we had a nice 10% decline, which is a big movement in any stock. Came up to less than half. It's obeying the resistance of the exponential 20 moving average. Red bar here. So I'm not actually trimming anymore at this point. It looks like it's going to go lower than the original. At this point, I could say that very confidently, that it's going to go lower than the original decline. So I knew it was going to go lower than 861 at that point with just seeing that bar. And that's what happened. So it went down on the second downward phase, went down and bottomed here roughly at about 838 for the price action. And it went down and it gave me a doji, and then it gave me a little bit of green bar. And at this point, I'd seen enough. It went down a little bit lower, but not much more than the original. And I trimmed quite a bit out of the name at this point at 1207, where I have the arrow there. And then basically after that point, and in this market, I was just playing the remainder of my position being profits. So anyways, the short squeeze being what it was, I actually at the end of the day bought right around here. I thought a short squeeze could actually be forming in the name. I actually bought a call for a $10 strike. So going forward in the name, if you follow me, if this stock goes over 10 bucks, I will have some really good profits. I'm holding a very minuscule portion of my original entry. So if it goes lower, below 750, I will make a lot of money also. And I think that pretty much sums it up. So I hope that shows you guys what I was looking at with this play today and gives you a little bit more insight as to why I played it the way I did. So anyways, Green Guy with Green Guy Finance. Hope you liked it. If you did, please retweet, follow, or comment. All suffice. So anyways, guys, have a good one. And any questions, I'll try to get to them tonight. I should have a little bit of time, but we'll see. Anyways, take care, guys.